I hereby introduce to you Mr. Michael Veazey.
Before we talk a little bit more about your book, I just wanted to talk a little bit about the testing thing without getting too nerdy. Obviously, you've developed a lot of your ability through testing what actually works. So testing for ourselves, what about split testing? Is that worth it for an individual seller who isn't doing, millions in the case of your clients?
So I would say it is. So if you're going to invest in this, you should, test and make sure that it's working. It's tough. It's really, really tough on Amazon to test anything because there's 3 million variables that are thrown at you all the time. Like if it's November and you test something and it looks like it does better, it's probably, who knows why, like that doesn't, like Black Friday and stuff or like coming up here, not too long, we'll have Prime Day. So it's like, man, like when is the window to actually test stuff? And then when it comes to like listing optimization, one of the most difficult things is figuring out, okay, why did that happen? So traffic quality and traffic sources is huge when it comes to because people want to talk about listing optimization as like conversions. That's all they think about. And that is not even close to like the whole story. Conversions are good. Here's a problem. Even some of my higher level clients struggle with, and I try to really get through to them, is they're so wrapped up on conversion rate. They think I need to make my listing convert as well as possible. And then I can drive traffic to it and I can, do this or that. And it's going to convert at, X. That's not how it works, right? A typical, let's say you had a sales page outside of Amazon that you threw traffic at and you want to get it to convert as well as possible. Great. That is how it works out there, right? That's not how it works on Amazon because it's a combination of, number one, utilizing the right keywords in the right places to get people in the door. And then number two, utilizing the right format and the right words to get them to buy and convert. So sometimes when I, re-optimize a listing, and by the way, I don't do this anymore, but I used to, and I used to charge $10,000 per ASIN to do it. And it came with a guarantee that you'd make more money in the next 90 days. Then you invested in me or I'd give you it all back. I never had to give $1 back. So the point is, sometimes their conversion rate goes down. Sometimes, but they got so much more traffic because we use the they're getting clicked on now, or they're getting indexed for better keywords that are more relevant. So their sales went up even though the conversion rate went down, right? Or vice versa. Maybe they got less traffic now because it was irrelevant traffic. They're getting better traffic, so their conversion rate goes up now. Their sales increase. So at the end of the day, the metric that matters, sales. People get too hung up on conversions. Or even sometimes traffic. Usually it's conversions. But anyway, back to split testing. Really hard to do, but I suggest doing it. Limiting any variables that are in your control. So keep the same traffic coming. Don't switch up your, optimize your listing and then ramp up your PPC spend or pause your PPC spend or do something like that. Keep everything as under control as possible. And then be intelligent about it. Okay, is there any variable like November, Black Friday, or Prime Day, or is my product somewhat seasonal? Make sure that it's a comparable. I like to use 2 weeks or sometimes a month, but make sure it's a comparable period of time with very few, if any, variables, and then you can make your comparison when it comes to split testing.
Wow, that's a brilliantly full answer. I have to say that also the whole thing you're talking about, that relationship between conversion, traffic, and the whole scenario is quite complex. There's quite a few moving parts, but the thing that you shouldn't get obsessed with conversions, you just need to get obsessed with the money you're making. It's not even sales in terms of unit sales, right? I mean, if you can lower the price and sell a lot more, that could be good, it could be bad. I mean, I guess the only sane metric is profit really at the end of the day, and sales before that. But really, really good point about conversion percentage could go down and you could actually make more money, because we do all get obsessed with conversion percentage. You're right, and I'm totally guilty of that. And also, the thing about split testing, just making sure that you try and minimize the variables. I mean, it's so tempting, isn't it, to just throw the kitchen sink at a thing, when you think, oh my God, I need to make this better. I'm going to change everything. I'm going to throw PPC at it. I might even run Google ads if I'm desperate. And the most desperate thing I've ever seen was somebody in one of my masterminds that I run in London. This guy came in and we looked at his listing. We shared it on, via screen share on the screen. And his conversion percentage was something like 0.02%. And the impressions were like 24,000 or something in a week. And I said, are you sure this is right? This doesn't look like an Amazon listing. And what he'd done is just run a ton of Google ads to it and just gone absolutely mad and actually killed the listing, which is just an extreme example of how desperate we all get and how unscientific we get when we have what we think of as a dead listing on our hands.
It's like trying to shove a square peg into a round hole. Like at some point, man, you got to start shaving your peg and making it round. Like,
yeah, shave your peg. That sounds pretty painful, but I like that. Sounds like homely advice from a goat farmer. I had no idea you were a goat farmer. That's absolutely hilarious. Of all things, I would have imagined for an Amazon-based copywriter to be in is hilarious. So, Don, just bring it home for us. Tell us a little bit more about the book, because obviously we've been hinting about it. I've certainly read it, and I have to say I was, mildly cynical, shall we say. I am British after all. It's a tradition here. And I thought, $500 book, that sounds absolutely mad. I can't believe that anyone would pay $500 for it. And then afterwards, I thought, well, you know what? People will pay $500 for an online course at the drop of a hat. I mean, $2,000 seems to be a standard price point for a lot of Amazon courses. So I thought, well, let's be fair to it. And then obviously the fact that relative to what you charge, $10,000 for a listing, assuming you even do that anymore, is, it's pretty good value to get, the sort of mechanics behind what you do. And I have to say, it's a really pretty amazing book. Now, obviously, somebody who's just starting out, $500 might be best going on PPC, Amazon ads, or even on inventory. But for somebody who's serious and wants to ramp up, I think it could be a pretty good investment. So just give us a sort of 1 or 2 minute pitch about that, and what reasons people might have, and who's it for and who's it not for.
Awesome. So I'll just tell you kind of how the book came about. So I was doing this for hire. I was working with clients. I was optimizing their listings. As you can tell, probably, hopefully now, anybody listening, there's a reason I charge 10 grand per ASIN, right? Or I did. And I retired that now because here's what happened. I had a lot of people banging at my door because people catch wind. Holy crap, you took somebody from 50K to 3 million. Like, sign me up. And you give a guarantee, sign me up. And then I'm like, holy crap, there's only so many hours in a day. And then I would have to turn people down because I couldn't take more in. And I was already charging them I almost felt bad how much I was charging because, it's a lot of money. And I was alienating people too because they couldn't afford it. And I'm like, geez, I need to I need to be able to help the people that I'm not able to help right now. So then I'm like, why don't I just package this instead of catching fish for people? Why don't I teach them how, right? So I put all of what I was doing in doing this for hire, and I put it into this book. And in my opinion, it's better than investing the $10,000 to have me do it, because at the end of the day, I just deliver it to you, and then you still don't know how to do it and what the why is behind it, right? So you could literally take this book, you could give it to, if you don't want to do it, you could give it to your assistant. Your assistant could read it once or twice. It doesn't take long to read. It's not a novel. All right. So they could take an hour or two to read through it twice, and then they could be a listing optimization expert pretty much, because that's 5 years of working with over 1,000 sellers. That's my blood, sweat, and tears in that book. And you can take that and apply it to all of your ASINs. So if you've got 6, 7, 8 ASINs, you don't have to spend $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 to have me do that for you. Now can know how to do it now. So that's why the book came about. I'm proud to say we have almost sold 700 copies in 43 countries and counting. So people really do see the value in this. The response has been super overwhelming. I'm trying my best to get as many people to hear this message as possible, because I truly, truly in my heart believe that this is something that, in a crowded, saturated, awful place where people are taking advantage of us sellers all day long, this is finally a product that will actually do what I'm advertising it'll do. And hopefully that you guys can see that by now. And this is why I work with people like Michael who care and they screen. Like, as you notice, Michael read through the book and he came with questions from the book, because he would have never had me on had he not seen the value from the book, right? So that's why I'm here. That's my message. If anybody wants to pick up a copy of the book, you definitely should. And you should ask Michael where to get it, and he'll hook you up. But that's my spiel. It's the real deal. I think hopefully you all can get some value from this alone. If nothing else, if you don't decide to invest in the book, I hope you get value from this. But otherwise, that's the spiel on the book.
Great, fantastic. Well, yeah, as you said, I try to be selective about who I have on the podcast. I mean, I want to give people a broad spread of people, and it's up to any entrepreneur, caveat emptor, as they say, the buyer should be aware that it's up to you to look into what you buy. And so I try and present a variety of people, but nevertheless, I try and make sure it's people who've walked their talk, and your numbers just speak for themselves. The fact that you had a $10,000 service that you offer people and you had a money back guarantee, you never had to pay it back. That's pretty extraordinary, and 1,000 people is one hell of a lot of real life experience. So it's very obvious in the book, I have to say. I mean, I'm not trying to sort of do a heavy sell on it, but like I say, it's not going to be for everyone, and it's the same with everything in the world. I would say to you, if you've got a small amount of money, please don't buy it, because it's a lot of money. But yeah, it's definitely worth it if you're a serious seller, and if you're a serious seller, you should be making money back on anything you invest in. If it's the good stuff, right, you should get an ROI on anything good. And ROI, I think, return on investment is, for me, the metric that across all types of things is the same metric. Talking about getting obsessed with conversion percentage or whatever it is, traffic, any metric we can end up going nuts over. I think return on investment is a very same metric for any investment decision. I think that's true for a product, and I think it's true for training or and other software, that stuff as well. So that's what I'd encourage anyone to think in terms of. In terms of getting hold of the book, if you just want to ping me an email, you can do that. It's always michael@amazingfba.com, or we will create a special page for you, Dana, at amazingfba.com/Dana, DAN for November A, and we'll stick up links to the podcast episodes and all the relevant info as well, including if you want a link to get the book. If you're happy to have it available without sort of screening people further, then we can put that up there.
Perfect. That sounds great. And I really appreciate everything you do, Michael. I'm honored to be here with you. And I hope that I really delivered some value to you guys. And I'm excited to continue and build off of that and recircle back with you in the future.
Absolutely. Well, I know you've got another book all about email marketing for Amazon, which is another huge topic, but let's not broach that today. But yeah, just reminds me to say thank you. And yes, I certainly think that you've given massive value. There's several things you said that I don't think I've heard anyone else say in the Amazon space. And obviously I speak to a lot of people who are experts in various areas. So some really amazing things, like putting a benefit in the title. Just that alone is a whole new concept for me, and I think that could be absolutely business changing just in itself. So yeah, fantastic value. Thank you so much, Dana, for taking the time to come on Amazing FBA.
Awesome. Thank you, Michael. It was a pleasure. And I've got your address, so I'm going to be sending you some sort of something in the mail. Maybe it'll be live, maybe it won't. We'll see.
Thanks, Dana. Yes, I already got your stone. There's some kind of rock, but anyway, I shouldn't give that away. I've got a mystery object with your book, but yeah, I'm used to getting interesting things in the mail from you, brother. So I look forward to the next one. In the meantime, thank you very, very much for your time.
All right. Thanks, Michael. Take care.